Well, good morning, my Teaserking family. How is everyone today? Hell of a weekend I had. Only I can go 6-0 when there's only 4 games, right? It's what I do. So, well, we got 94.02 on our silver. So silver is 94.02 and gold is nicely 46.66. We got the 46. So this is what it does: 4,500, then 4,600, and messes around there. And we'll get to 4,700 soon, and then we should see $100 silver by the end of the week. It definitely has the momentum. There was something Mark McGuire said. I'll try to find it. He said between the 8th and the 14th, they're doing some bullshit. And they'll keep it down a little or try to get it lower. And then now we're past the 14th. It's all over now. Here we go. And we're seeing again, silver finally breaks 90. I was telling my friend it was 92. I said, well, 92.90. I said, we just got to break 93. It broke it. Now we broke 94. Our next turtle is breaking 95 and then seeing 100 and breaking 100. So when we see 150 cents, there it goes. It's all over, but the fat lady singing. So it'll be a good time when that happens, and that's going to happen. As I said in my title, they are undervalued, based on it being pushed down. When you're valuing it in paper, I don't even understand the concept of taking the paper price as the physical price of gold and silver. There's obviously far less paper than physical. Just a second. Hello? Hello?
Hey, what are you doing?
Just doing class. What's up?
You want to hang out after?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought we were going to Boneyard.
Yeah, call me when you're done.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
So anyway, I never understood how they price silver in paper, which is a lot more paper contracts than are actually physical. So I have 1 2-ouncer, and yet they want to do contracts for 100 of these, but they don't have 100. They only have 2 ounces. And so when they slide the price down, they're doing it on a much more supply of silver than actually exists. And that's our whole thesis here. Obviously, the value of the physical is a lot more than the value of the paper, especially since the paper's going down because of derivatives and options, not because of the free market and people demanding or not demanding the metal. And so when that happens, that's the whole point of it. So that's why it's so undervalued. Why we use the COMEX as the paper price, it's insanity. However, it helped us because we're able to buy silver at $25 an ounce and gold at 1900 an ounce. I showed you my paper. I bought it. It was like 1942 or something, which was probably at 1842 because I probably had to pay a premium of $70, $80 at that time. So with that said, we outfoxed. We were the foxes and they were the hens because we took COMEX to our advantage and bought it cheap, and we're holding it. And guess what? It's still cheap. There is no way this is the real value of gold and silver, and that's why you see it climb so much. Silver this is worth 2,000 because it's 2 ounces. This is not worth now $94, $188. It's not anywhere near that. But most people don't know, and you're going to listen to your financial planner. And in the U.S., the financial planner is going to say, "Oh no, you want to be in stocks. You want to be in a real estate trust, a little bit of land and a little bit of real estate trust and a little bit of stocks and a little bit of money in the bonds and in the bank." What do they say? 60-40 stocks and bonds. You got to be an idiot to listen to that, because the stocks are all going to drop. They're being pushed up. So as gold and silver have been pushed down and suppressed, the stock market has been pushed up, and the real estate market, they've been pushed up. Those values are not real either. And that's what a bubble is, when the value's higher than it really is. So your $250,000 house is now worth $500,000. No, it's worth $250,000. It got pushed up to $5,000 because the money became worthless. So now you're dealing in monopoly money. So you get a higher value with it, but it's really not. It's really not the whole point. So this is why we're just, I'm so adamant that it's undervalued, and I know I'm right, because I can explain it, right? Which gets us into our idiot ones where people get emotional about what they are, and then they feel confident. Well, Warren Buffett said gold's just a paperweight, so it must be because Warren Buffett said so. And I don't know, and I'm not in gold because I was in stocks, and therefore I don't want to be in gold. So anything about gold I disagree with. And the stock market, how can the stock market crash? No, the stock market's good. It's not going to crash. Okay, whatever, because I'm in it. I listen to Warren Buffett. So people think whatever Warren Buffett said, even if he's wrong, even if he's not an Austrian economist and doesn't understand supply and demand, doesn't understand you can print the dollar to zero. He doesn't get that, right? How many? He's got like what? $2 billion sitting in cash right now, watching it go to zero, right? I found this channel about Trump that I don't know if I believe it or not. Like it's a plan. He's trying to destroy the West, and he's trying to, that we're actually owned by Britain. Now that part I can kind of understand. So Britain is controlling us. That's why you see the British pound worth more than the dollar, and Trump's trying to blow it up. So I saw this video, and I got to check it out before I share it. Who the author is? I'm like, sounds good, but I don't buy that Trump knows what he's doing, that he's doing this. So let me check it out. But the fact that we're run by Britain doesn't surprise me. And the fact George Soros is here is only bad news, right? So we will see. But I saw that. But mostly it's the idiot. The people feel things. They regurgitate things, but they don't understand things. Sort of like when they say, what's the guy? The guy Moore, Dante Moore on Oregon. Oh, he should be the number 1 or number 2 pick in the draft. And people listen, and they don't know, and they agree with them. And I totally disagree. The guy chokes. And Mendoza's the best quarterback. No, he's not. I mean, we'll see. In my title, I'm giving the score 30-27. Indiana. I looked at the stats of the year. They both have very strong offenses and very strong defenses. I think this will be a game that they're going to try to put up points. I don't think this will be a defensive game because both teams can score a lot. The A&M game, where I thought would have been a higher scoring game, although I did play it under, was because of the wind. There was very strong wind. That's why I go back to the Miami-Ohio State game, 24-14. And that's why I go, be careful on the Indiana-Oregon game to not over-qualify it. Oh, they beat Oregon by 30 points. Well, great, but that's not what we're, that's that game. Right. God, I'm getting all this bullshit. So they're in other words, looking at one game versus another, and I warned you about that this weekend. So you're looking at what was it? The Niners beating Philly, and then they played Seattle. Well, it was a different game. It was at Seattle, and they got killed. Okay. So Indiana beats Oregon. You're not going to get the same game. Now, they did beat Alabama. Now, the quarterback didn't play the second half, and then they had all the turnovers against Oregon with Dante Moore. Here, Carson Beck's is a little bit better, but not great. But they should get into the game. They are at home. That will help them. Indiana, we saw them against Ohio State, 13-10. We saw them at Iowa, 19-15. We saw them at Oregon, 30-20. So they do win the games, but it depends on who they're playing. But here, Miami shows a good offense, and they have a good defense, but Ole Miss put up 27 on them, right? 31-27. So they were able to put up points on them. So the defense is good. I don't think this will be a 40-point game. I think this is kind of controlled. Jesus Christ. It's kind of controlled to I think a game in the 20s, like a 28-24, and what I did 30-27, I think sounds about right. I think it's close. I don't think they'll put up another 38-3 or that, or the 56-22 like they did against Oregon. That was turnover. You get high scores on turnovers. You don't get high score. You don't drive the field 8 times and score 56 points unless you're like North Texas playing Rice or something like that. So you have to understand that. I think this game will be closer than you think. And I think Miami has a chance to win it. But I think Indy, they're a very well-balanced team. Looking at the stats, they run for 210, they throw for 260, where Miami's a little more pass happy, like 280, but only run for 180. Strong defenses, definitely. Mendoza's a better quarterback than Beck, but Beck's been to the big games with Georgia, so it's not a big deal for him. He did win the game last week for against Old Mississippi, so he'll be in it. I don't think they're going to be very careful with the turnovers. Indiana might get 1 or 2, but overall, they're not going to get 8 pick sixes like Oregon gave them. I think Oregon's coach is terrible. He's just to have Dante Moore, that's your first problem. But then to not use him properly and to allow him to throw the ball on Indiana in the first play and give up a pick six, you got to get into the game. Let the game settle down, especially a big game, playoff game. You got to run a little bit. Okay, now our feet are wet. We gained 3. Oh, yeah, we got a first down. And then maybe start throwing safe passes. That's why you see these little wide receiver screens, the safe little passes that, okay, we got a completion. Now we go. And, so that's the key to it. So again, I think Miami could win the game. I think Indiana will win the game. They seem to have the better coach for sure. The quarterbacks are fairly even. The defenses are very even. What do we got? An 11 against the 14, but good offenses. I think they will be able to score points in the game. So I'm looking, that's 57. Total's 48. Well, let's look at the line right now. What's the line at right now? We've got 7.5, 47.5. And that's where I've been at, 7.5, 40. I'll make it 47.5 and 48.5. Now I have Indiana. I have the game over in 2 teasers. I added a Rams under teaser yesterday, going out, freezing, going, you've got to be kidding. They really didn't talk much of the wind chill I found yesterday. Chris Collinsworth is too stupid to talk about it, but it wasn't just like because of the wind. It was 5. It was probably, I don't know if it was 0 or 5, but they're blowing smoke. Stafford needs to put his coat on every 5 minutes. It's a timeout. I need my coat. So Stafford didn't like it. It does mess with your head. It is hard to catch the ball when it's cold and leather gets cold. It's slippery. So again, that was a key factor, was the weather. So being out in it, I says I couldn't imagine playing 3 hours, 3.5 hours of football in this weather, being out in it for 3.5 hours. So I told you I added it before, and I put it with Indiana. I had nothing else left to put it with because I already had Houston under locked in 2 teasers. I warned about CJ Stroud. So as far as taking Houston, I did not advise that. I said take the under. I couldn't really advise New England because we hadn't seen Drake May, who struggled also. And there was a lucky pass to Boutte for the touchdown, and the other one was a 4th down touchdown. They got a pick 6. So anyway, the first lock was Seattle under with Denver over. No, my big lock was Denver over, Houston under. That was my 30-unit lock. My next lock was Seattle with Houston. And I think I had a third lock. No, I think that was it. I did play Seattle with the Indy over, and I added the Ram under with the Indy over. So I got Indy over twice, 41. I then played the Rams, the Bears plus 10 with Denver plus 7.5. So that was the second bet I made. The first bet was the lock, Houston, Denver over with Houston under. That was the first lock. And then I said, I got to take Denver plus 7.5 at home. And then I saw the Rams. I was confused by the weather. I said, well, the Bears on 10 aren't losing, not a chance. And so I took them. And then Seattle under I loved. And so I took them with Houston under and then with Indy. And then the last game was the Rams under with Indy tonight, 41. So we'll see. I could trap the game taking the under 47.5 with over 41 if I don't want to, well, what if I lose? And boom, boom. So they're smaller bets. The big ones were the locks, the Houston, Denver over, and the Seattle, Houston, the Seattle under, Houston under. Those were the locks. And that's how you play teasers. You bet more on the games you really love. I knew Houston was going to go under. I had a heart attack watching that game. The first moment I come back from swim, I turn on the game. Stroud throws the pick 6. I'm like, okay, I guess I can't watch this. And when that happens, I don't watch the game at that point. And I just turned on something else and, kept checking the score going, okay, yeah, it's because at 21-10, I'm basically fucked. It's 31. I say I can give up 2 touchdowns, 38-45. I'm under 47. So I said I can give up 2 touchdowns, field goal, touchdown in the whole fourth quarter. I'm shitting in my pants, and that was it. And they ended scoreless and kept it under. And you see a lot of that. They get explosive in the first half, and then it clamps down, and the team leading just sits on the ball, and that's all they do. So New England, do they have a hell of a defense? CJ Stroud, 4 interceptions? I'm telling you, he sucks. Now you understand why. I look at a quarterback, how's he going to play in the big game? I don't look at him, how they play the Lions or the Jets or Miami, teams with no defense. I mean, Stroud's okay, but he had 7 turnovers in 2 playoff games. Joe Montana had 0 in 4 Super Bowls. So that's where I get is who do you want to bet on? Lamar chokes in the playoffs. You've got C.J. Stroud, looked like he was at Ohio State playing Michigan, right? 2-3 turnovers in those games. He couldn't win them. He was terrible in those games. He was terrible in both games. He was terrible. They won because of the defense against Pittsburgh. And then yesterday, as good as the defense was, New England was able to score a couple of touchdowns. What the fuck was the pick 6 by Stroud? He's getting hit at his own 10-yard line, and he's just throwing it up. And the guy picks it off and runs it in for a touchdown. And you're like, this is where I struggle to find the intelligence of C.J. Stroud. Let's break the game down. Best unit on the field, the Houston defense. So I don't want to turn it over. Let Houston's defense win the game for you. I would have ran the ball all day against New England. I don't care if I gain a yard. I don't want to turn it over because I turned it over 4 times. I didn't play to my strength. My strength was my defense. And if you're giving up pick 6s and 4 interceptions, you're killing your defense. They're not resting and all that. So that was kind of the problem with it, right? Was you're not playing to your strength. This is where I struggle with the coach. What are you doing? This is a playoff game. You got to let your defense win it for you. You've got C.J. Stroud, who's not very good. Do you not realize that? Well, now maybe you do. 7 turnovers and 3 turnovers against the Steelers, and he didn't recognize it. He's throwing the ball 40 times around. It's like, no, dude, you got to run the ball. Stroud's going to kill you. In New England, Drake May had some problems also, and so is New England that good? So let's carry it out to next week. So, okay, so we got Miami 7.5, 47.5. Let's go to the pros. And now here are my lines. England -3 against Denver, May against Stidham, and then Seattle 4 over the Rams, Stafford against Darnell. But let's look at the lines. We got New England was 5.5, is now 4.5. And 41, which I think is very low, too low. Seattle, we got -3, 47.5. So now New England's not at home, and they're not playing C.J. Stroud. Stidham, is he any better? Well, the coach is a lot better. Sean Payton's not going to do the same bullshit. He's going to understand his quarterback, what he can do, what his strength is. The defense will come. Drake May hasn't been on the road in the playoffs. Showed a lot of weakness yesterday. The lucky catch by Boutte, a pick 6, and you had some other interceptions. You're not going to get that from Stidham. New England, very strong defense. Is it? You gave up 16 to C.J. Stroud. I don't know that New England's defense is all that. I don't know what Denver will do, but Sean Payton will do it. I think Stidham is not as bad as you think. He's certainly not as bad as C.J. Stroud. So, again, that's why I make the line. New England on the road in Denver by 3. Can Denver win the game? Absolutely. New England's got a good defense. So does Denver. I think this total at 41 is a joke. I think it should be 46, 47. You're discounting Stidham. It's not like he's a freshman at UCLA. I mean, he's been in the league. He played at, I think, Texas Tech. He's not a bad quarterback. I think he played a little at Auburn too. He got drafted by New England. I remember saying, I think this is a good draft pick. He just never got the chance, but I think he's good. Drake May, I don't know. I think he'll run more in this game. I think Denver will come up with the topsy-turvy plays. I got New England as an 18 with an 18 defense and Denver with a B and 24. Now, here's where New England struggles. New England didn't play anybody. They did move the ball nicely on Houston. So they will move the ball on Denver. There's no question about it. Do you not think Denver will move it on New England? And I think they will. It's a whole different atmosphere being at home playing CJ Stroud than it is going on the road, especially Mile High, where the oxygen's going to be a problem. They're going to have trouble breathing. It's going to be foreign to them. Denver's got the crowd. It's one thing when the quarterback gets hurt in the second quarter and he's out, and now we got to go to the backup. Now Bo Nix has already had surgery on his ankle, and I watched the play. I didn't even see him. All he did was throw the ball and plant. He must have planted wrong or something. He's had surgery. He's out. But now you can prepare for that. Okay, Stidham, what do you like? You're betting really on Sean Payton, and the defense has not been all that. It's been okay, but what did they do? 33-30 with Buffalo. Their defense is questionable, Denver's. It's not it's not a 10 defense. It's not an Ohio State defense. So with that being said, New England will be able to score, but the game's in Denver. I think Stidham will get you some points. I think over 35 is the very obvious play here, depending weather, but it's Denver. It shouldn't be very cold. And I think Stidham brings a lot more to the table. This isn't, oh, shit, he's injured, it's all over. Now, as far as taking Denver as the dog, they probably are a live dog. Drake May is going to run for points, throw for points. Denver, their defense, again, it's not that good. So it's hard to take Denver. It's hard to take New England on the road. So that's why I go to the total. It's too low to go under. It's an over bet. John C. Bills coach should have been fired 5 years ago. He doesn't know what he's doing. But he was a defensive coach, right? And they never had a good defense. That's why Buffalo always lost. They don't have a defense. You gave up 33 points to Denver, right? You lost 33-30. You're not winning anything with that defense. You couldn't beat Mahomes because of the defense. And now here, we added Joey Bosa. Oh, great. He did nothing. So I'm not surprised. He should have been. See, the problem is now you watch the coaches get hired. The Cleveland coach is now, I think, at Atlanta, and the Giants hired Harbaugh. Why did they hire Harbaugh? He's a great coach. No, he isn't. With all the talent he had, he wasn't smart enough to get Lamar at wide receiver and have Huntley be quarterback. He doesn't get it. I don't think he's all that. I don't think the Giants are going to do much with him. I like Sean Payton 100 times better than I like Harbaugh. So you'll watch who they hire, and then you'll wonder why they all get fired. I mean, the last 5 years, there's been at least 7 or 8 coaches fired every year. Okay, what is your hiring process that you got to fire these guys? Or, okay, I'll give you 2 years, and if you don't survive, then I'm going to fire you. What are you doing? The GMs don't know what they're doing. Look at the Lions. They hired, the big fat rocket scientist guy. I can't remember his name, Pat or Matt or whatever. Why? Why did you hire him? And then you give him 2 years and you fire him. And then we're picking first because you couldn't win a game. Why did you draft the guy? I mean, that's the problem. Or why'd you hire the guy? They don't know what they're doing in their hiring process. Dan Campbell should be fired because now we can see it wasn't Dan Campbell, it was Ben Johnson, and we let him go instead of making him the head coach and getting rid of Campbell. I shouldn't say we, I should say Detroit. I'm not a Detroit fan. Like I say, I laugh at people who wear the Detroit sweatshirts. All right. So the second game was Seattle 347.5. So I have updated my teasers, but I haven't. Let's see. New England is now 18-1 in the teaser. and I have them 7-1 as a home favorite, but now they're a road favorite. So we got to check what that is. Denver now goes to 17-1 in a teaser. And they're at home, which they don't lose very often, although Jacksonville got them at home. But I've noticed they've been playing high-scoring games. Look at the Giant game was a 70-point game. Okay, with Bo Nix, but again, Stidham, I mean, just because he's the backup, I would feel comfortable if the Rams had to go with Stenson Benson. I would be fine with that. I hope they don't have to, but I would be fine with it. So you got an 18-1 New England, a 17-1 Denver. Denver's very live as a home dog here, very live. Then we got the Rams, an over team with the 28 defense. Now, again, it was freezing yesterday, so you really can't, I warned you, you cannot bet this. This game would be a lock over if it was 40 degrees, right? I said that, but it was 5 degrees or 0. Wind chill, and they were freezing. You're not getting high scoring in there. I told you that. I heard on the radio, it's an over. I'm betting it over. And I'm like, it's 5 degrees out. You can't bet over at 5 degrees. And so I was right. The beauty of it is I actually picked 2017. I picked it Bears, but I picked the score. 2017, the Rams won. I was hoping that Caleb would throw the interception and they won 2017. I would have nailed the score. But, I mean, yes, I had the under in the game also, but I nailed the score. I had 2017. I had New England winning 17-14. They won 28-16. So I had the Houston score pretty right. New England, the pick 6. Otherwise, it would have been 21-16. I had 17-14. So I was pretty freaking good on my scores. LA, Seattle, now they played a 45-44 game or something like that. Do not look at Seattle's defense to do what they did against the Niners. Pukanuka, Devontae Adams, they got running. They've got Stafford. It's warm there. Well, I'll check the weather. I'm sure it's warmer than in the Bears. Seattle, you still got Darnold, and here's where Darnold's going to have problems. The Rams just went and really shut down the Bears. Again, it was freezing, but the Rams won at Chicago, and that's a bigger win than Seattle beating the Niners because the Niners were injured. I think the Rams are a very live dog here. I think over's very live here. 41. It depends on who you're playing and what the score is. Or what the line is. So Seattle beating the Niners and looking dominant on defense, or the other game where they look dominant on defense. Again, they played the Niners twice and looked dominant on defense. What was the score? 41-6, and they beat them 13-3. But that's the Niners with Purdy, McCaffrey. Kittle played in the first game, I think, and they just ran it down their throats. But the Niners aren't the Rams. Purdy is not Stafford. They don't have a Pukanuka. They have McCaffrey, and LA's got Williams, and they got the tight ends, the Rams. But Stafford's the key there. So you're not playing the Niners. So all of a sudden, that great defense. I mean, look at Houston's great defense against Pitt. Then they went to New England, and all of a sudden, they gave up 21, 7 on the pick 6. The biggest thing the coach needs to do is understand his strength and play to it. Houston didn't do that yesterday. They did not play to their defense. They let C.J. Stroud throw 4 picks. Why didn't they put in the backup? He clearly didn't know what he was doing. So anyway, Johnsy, was it Matt Mullen? No, it was the other guy. He's the defensive coordinator at Ohio State. He's got the pencil in his head. He was from New England, Priscilla or something. The rocket scientist. Thank God he didn't go into that. I don't know. The big fat guy with the hat backwards and the pencil in his ear. Anyway, he sucked. Matt Patricia? No, something like that. Caleb choked again. Well, that's why I'm telling you these guys are no good. Caleb, 3 picks. It's not only he threw 3 picks, it's when he threw it. At the end of the game, you're going to win the game. I thought it was a terrible pass. Troy Aikman's bitching about R.J. Moore or DJ. The Ram player was going to the ball, and DJ Moore was behind him. That was not DJ Moore. That was a terrible pass. You don't throw that pass in overtime when you're driving. I noticed Caleb didn't run very much. He had a couple of nice runs, but his weapon is it's hard to tackle him. He didn't do any of that. He just stood in the pocket, and he's not a pocket passer. Again, Ben Johnson. Now, here's where Ben Johnson lost the game. The Bears had it deep, 4th down, go for it, don't make it. At 3 minutes left in the game, they have the ball at the 5-yard line, 4th down, don't make it. He kicks the field goals there. Then it's 17-16. And then at the end of the game, instead of Caleb throwing up a miracle, he just kicked the field goal, win 19-17. That's where Ben Johnson has his problems. Let's go on 4th down all the time, as if you're playing a high school team. And then, the game went to overtime. Well, you had 2 chances to kick field goals. Get your points. It's always, you can point to it every game. When they go on 4th, they don't make it, and then it's a close game, and they need a field goal, and you had it. The Bears had the ball at the 5-yard line with 3:30 left, kicked the field goal. Yeah, it's 17-13, but you're going to get the ball back, and you're going to need a field goal to win anyway. A touchdown's not going to do, and they didn't go for 2, notice. So, funny, when you get in the playoffs, you're not going for 2, but you're tying the game up. But that was a miracle. And I don't know what happened to the cornerback. The guy's running around for 20 minutes back to his own 40. So he throws the ball from the 40 into the end zone, and the tight end catches it. And where was the cornerback? It was 5 yards in front. He ran in front almost if it was a fixed play. Oh, let's go to overtime. So he was like, no, we got to go to overtime. Let him catch the ball. And he kind of came up. Like, why? That guy should have intercepted the ball. I mean, he's covering one guy. Don't you understand? The guy's 40 yards. You're covering. What are you doing? And he was nowhere close to the tight end. The tight end didn't push off. He was there, and the cornerback came up, and the tight end went back, and it was wide open, caught the ball. Like, well, but again, Ben Johnson, like Dan Campbell, doesn't go. Let's go 4th down. Didn't make any of them. And then you needed a field goal at the end to go to the title game, and you screwed yourself by not kicking 2 field goals. Just kick one. It's 17-13. That's okay. You still, you needed the touchdown. It looks good, but you didn't get it because Caleb threw it into the middle and didn't, I thought the play calling was terrible. I think Caleb was trying to run, and they really kept him from running by putting like 2 guys up the middle and didn't give him a lane to run on. So he had to throw, and he's not a good thrower. So you got C.J. Stroud, who sucks. You've got Caleb, who sucks. But everybody knows, well, look at the miracle pass Caleb did against Green Bay and here. But he threw 3 interceptions and threw the interception in overtime, which cost them the win. So what are you doing? You're not Tom Brady, Joe Montana, they're not doing that. Joe Montana's not throwing 3 picks and then having to do a miracle touchdown to win the game. Joe Montana is not throwing any picks. Take care of the ball, take what you can get, run smart plays, run to your strengths, and they didn't do that. So, yeah, Caleb jokes. He's not very good. I keep telling C.J. Stroud, he's terrible. You got to get a new quarterback or go to Davis Mills. I mean, you can't. Guy with seven turnovers in 2 games in the playoffs. Yeah, you think you're going to win a playoff game? And I've said this a long time. Watch the Michigan-Ohio State game when he choked both years. That's the key to it. Watch them in college, how they are. Now you're going to watch tonight Mendoza and Rec, and you're going to see how good these guys are. We're going to see Mendoza in a pressure game with a good defense, and we'll see Beck in a pressure game with a good defense, and we'll see who the better one is, who turns it over. We saw Dante Moore choke big time, first play, interception. The game's over. and you want to draft him. So why do you think you went back to college? Well, you want to draft him in the second pick in the draft. You want to draft that guy, and you think he's going to be better than C.J. Stroud, who stinks? I don't get this whole I got to draft the quarterback with the first pick or the second pick. Look at Cam Ward. He sucks, right? Oh, he was the first pick because he was a quarterback. No, like I said, the best player in the drafts, Ruben Bain, Miami, and Bailey at Texas Tech. Those are the best two players in the draft. That's who you should be drafting. Don't worry about the quarterback. As you see, you're going to see Stidham with Denver. They'll be very competitive there. You've got Drake May, who was nothing in college. You've got Darnold, who was decent in college, who stinks at the Jets, chokes at Minnesota. And the only reason Seattle won is they played good defense, and they didn't allow Darnold to choke. He didn't do anything in the game. He didn't put up 40 points. What was it, 41-6? Darnold maybe threw one touchdown, I think, or two, but it has nothing to do with him. Charbonnet, I think, is injured. His knee, we'll see. But so we'll break the game down. The Rams are now 14-4, 50. They're 15-4 in a teaser, which isn't very good. Seattle is they're not that good in a teaser either. Not like New England and Denver are. So you break the game down. You got May against Stidham. I think it's pretty even. I don't, everybody. This is where the idiots things come in. Oh, Drake May, he should be the MVP. Really? They played nobody. I read you the schedule yesterday. Who did they beat? They beat Baltimore, and they beat Buffalo once and then lost to them. And that was it. Their schedule is very weak. The New Orleans, the Jets, the Giants, Washington, Miami twice, the Jets twice, Buffalo split. It was the Baltimore game. It was the only game that they played as a dog. So, New England's okay. May's okay. But again, he's looking good against weak teams. And then yesterday he looked okay. But again, you had a pick six, and we go against Denver with Stidham. We just don't have any data on it. So it's very hard to say, oh, Stidham's really good, which I do think he's very good. I don't think Denver's going to miss much. Bo Nix did a little bit of running. I don't know if Stidham's a runner. I do recall that he was good, and I thought he was a good draft pick at the time. Denver can run. Denver, we'll see what they are, but New England's not going to have the same defense. It's different when it's C.J. Stroud. New England can have it, but here on the road in Mile High, New England's defense is going to run out of gas. We leave it to Sean Payton. He'll figure out something. Now, can Denver win? Maybe. What will Drake May do on the road in a playoff game? Will he choke also? Probably. He was choking a little bit yesterday. So that's what you have. That's why I think I like it over. And then you got LA, Seattle. I like the Rams as a dog, and I like the game over a lot. Darnold, I guarantee you 2 picks, right? Stafford, I'm not sure. The Seattle defense, this isn't the Niners you're playing. Let's look at the Seattle schedule. The Rams we just saw, they're very good. So let's look at Seattle. Are they this good? What are they? They're at 12 defense now. But again, they beat the Niners. They gave up 3 points and 6 points. But that was, again, they get the Niners. The Rams with the 30 offense in Seattle at 28 over the whole year. The Rams with 20 defense and Seattle at 17. But again, we know the Rams have been a 30 defense. So the Rams-Seattle game was 38-37. Seattle won. A 27-10 with Carolina, who sucks, and then the Niners 3-6. But let's go back. Let's look at the first Ram game. Seattle beats Pitt 31-17, New Orleans 44-13, Arizona 23-20. They lose to Tampa 38-35 when Tampa was healthy. They beat Jacksonville 20-10. They beat Houston 27. So they put up 27 on Houston. So this is definitely an over game. But Houston's got 19 on them. They beat Washington without Daniels. They beat Arizona again during game. The Rams beat them 21-19. So they gave up 21. That was the game I had them over. So I needed the field goal. Rams. They shut out Minnesota, Atlanta without Penix, Indy 18-16, then the Rams 38-37, Carolina 10, and then the Niners. So they give up again against the Rams 38-37. The Rams know how to move the ball and score on them. So love the over in that game. As far as taking the Rams in 9, possibly. But I think the over is a better game. But everybody's skewed into looking at how they did against the Niners, 3.6 points. But they're not playing the Niners. They're playing the Rams. They're playing Pukanuka, Devontae Adams, and Stafford. It is not the same as playing Purdy and McCaffrey. And so this game, it would be like the Bear game, 20-17, 37. It'll be higher than that because it was cold. So you can't really get a play on it. It'll be like the Carolina game, 34-31, Rams beat Carolina. See, there's always that close game. The Rams won it, and then they go to Chicago, and then they win that one 20-17. And because they did beat Carolina, they won that, and that was their bad game. Now they get constant. Now look at them; they're going to play well. Here's where you bet on Sean McVay and Stafford to put up points for us. Again, the Rams with the 28 defense. The only reason it was low scoring. So look for Seattle to score early and often, and look for the Rams to score early and often. We need 41 is 21-20. Give me a fucking break. So I'll give you that as the free play. I mean, that's the obvious one. Can you take the Rams in 9? I don't feel it. Like the Bears in 10 yesterday. I loved it. And they were there. But in this case, I'm not as comfortable with the Rams in 9, although I should be. Will the Rams go to the Super Bowl? They absolutely could. Can Denver go? Absolutely. The two best teams, stat-wise, are Seattle with an A team with the 12 defense and New England an A team with an 18 defense. Again, that's last 5, but not counting yesterday's. But we'll keep it close to it. So, yeah, Seattle's got a great defense, but, Rams 38-37, and it was a bullshit 2-point conversion that they won with. I mean, that was the worst call I've ever seen. So look for the Rams, do or die. They doed against, in the elements. The Bears defense played well. So look for that, but the Rams still have kind of a weak defense. But it's Stafford against Darnell, and you got to take Stafford. The other game, May against Stidham. What are you going to do there? May, he looked shaky at times yesterday. Denver's defense better come to play. But Stidham, it's not like it's Earl Morrall in Super Bowl III where he's going to throw 15 interceptions because he's fixed. Profit. So I took your advice, as you should, and played a 5-team 7-point teaser, which play 3.5 to 1. All I need is Indiana -1 tonight to cash. Go. You think I should hedge here? Well, it depends on the bet, how much you have and how much can you win. If it's $1,000, you're going to win, I would hedge. If it's a couple hundred, I might not. It's a good play, Indiana -1. I would have won Indiana over, as that was the free play. Again, you're not listening to me there. You got to be careful. Miami at home. they just beat Ole Miss. It's going to be a tight game. Indiana's not going to win by 30 like it's Oregon or Alabama, who hurt their quarterback. So look for Miami to come out strong at home. Again, they're at home. So I think Indiana wins, like I say, but I think it'll be close. You'll be biting your nails for sure. Thank you for your locks. You're welcome, Derek. Finally made some money. Well, there you go, Derek. I'm glad you made some money. You prefer the over here. Yeah, that's the free play over 41. Derek, are you a customer or that? I assume you are if you knew for the locks. And I'm glad you made money. You should have been making money the last 2 months with my picks. But anyway, 3 locks, 3 winners. Only I can have 6 winners in 4 games. Again, I love the Bears in 10, and then the under was just because of the weather, and Denver as a home dog was so good, but the over with the Buffalo game is so easy. Probably all their games go over. You met my free play. Well, I went through everything yesterday, but yeah, the locks were 3 locks. I had Denver over with Buffalo. I had Houston under, and I had Seattle under. So those were my 3 locks. Had you bought, you would have. And see, the idea in the teasers, those 3 games you would have put in a 3-team teaser, and you would have bet them for a lot of money. That's how you win at teasers. And when you find the locks, you bet it hard. Now, I had to sweat both of the Seattle under and the Houston under. I couldn't give up another touchdown, but it's playoffs. They're not, so they didn't let them score, and it ended up. I was really nervous yesterday because it was I'm under 47, and it's at 44 because of the stupid pick sixes. And like the Seattle game, the stupid kickoff return to start the game. It's like, that's terrible for an under. But anyway, that happened. But that's how you play. When I give you 3 locks like that, you play a 3-team teaser, for some money. In that profit, you should be getting some good odds. 7-team teaser. I don't know what you bet on it or how much you can win, but let's just put it this way, Profit. You bet like 100 to win 1,000. No, you probably bet 100 to win 500, let's say. So, if you're okay, you got all your gold, I probably would just let the game play out. If you bet more and there's more risk, you got that. So maybe you take Miami in 7.5 and for half. So you bet 100 to win, let's say 700. So then you maybe bet 200 or 300 on Miami plus 7.5. You can't lose. You're either going to win 300 minus the 100, or you're going to win 700 minus the 300. Or, as I think this game will be close, as I'm calling it 30-27, you then win both ways. So you can win 300 and the 700. So you can win 1,000. You can't lose 1,000. The worst you're going to do is lose 400 because, again, it's odds. So you bet 100 to win 700. There's no juice on that. And then the other way, you'd bet 330 to win 300 with Miami and 7.5. That might be how I play it, depending on what I'm doing. I hope you played, the Houston under and the Ram under as I gave yesterday. The best play was the Buffalo over. McDermott's fired. He's fired because he's a defensive coach and their defense sucked. But this is the whole thesis. You look at the team's defense, and Denver is going to be an over game because Buffalo doesn't have a defense. So now you look at Seattle's defense at a 12 and you go, oh, well, they got a good defense. Well, they do, but you've got to be careful with it. That's against the Niners without an offense. That's against Carolina. Tampa put up 38. The Rams put up 37. So it's becoming, who are they playing to tell you how good their defense is? So Seattle against the Rams, they're not going to have a 12 defense. The Rams will have 12 points in the first quarter. You're not going to get that great defense because now they got to cover Pukanuka and they got to cover Devontae and the tight ends, and all of a sudden, and Stafford won in Chicago in freezing weather. So now you have a whole different offense they got to look at, and there goes their 12 defense. Now, this isn't the steel curtain. This is Seattle. I like their coach. It's a good defense, but not against here. I think if they make the Super Bowl, let's say Seattle plays New England, then I would think the defense would take over because Drake May won't know what he's doing. Drake May will not win a Super Bowl. He just, he takes too long. Houston got after him pretty good. And again, take the pick six away. They got 21 points. One of the touchdowns was a miracle. One was on fourth down. He's okay. He's not that good yet. Now, maybe he will be. I don't know. He seems to throw the ball well, but his decision-making, we have to see how he does in a big game. So will he be able to win at Denver? I don't know. I don't think, it's Tom Brady. So there you go. You had 100 to win 350. Boy, those odds suck for 7 teams, 350. Well, I think I wouldn't have played a 5-team 7-point teaser. I would have played a 5-team 6-point teaser to get better odds because you're not going to need that extra point. Here's the teaser: Denver +6, Seattle even, New England under 48. New England, yeah. Chicago on 10.5, yeah, and Indiana. Well, that's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a 5-team teaser. Okay, that's what you said. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you missed. See, you should have played the Denver over instead of Indiana. Would have been fine. And the Seattle under was a lock, and New England under you had. So so 100 to win 350. I don't think you have enough bet there to trap it. You can maybe put. What are you going to put 200 on Miami and 7.5 in a straight bet? Or maybe you can tease Miami plus 13.5 and put it with the Rams over. So you can tease it. So you get a 13-point gap where you can win, but I would play that for like 100 or maybe a 150. Indiana should win the game. I think they have the better running attack. But again, the game's at Miami and the weather could be a factor. It's warm, and Indy's a cold team, right? So yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. Like I said, I had 6 winners in four games. I picked 6 winners. It's crazy. But I mean, it's a good card. Your odds suck. Picking 5 teams at 3.5 to 1. Yeah. No, I don't like doing that. Maybe that's okay. It's a little less likely. I would tease it with Seattle over, the Rams over. But yeah, Miami is an insurance play, right? Getting 13.5. Will it win? I think it has a good chance. I'm giving you the score 30-27. So you could do that. But what if Miami covers, but it doesn't go over 41? That's why I hate doing it in the same game. I like to play one thing. Like I played Denver over with Houston under, and then I played Denver plus 7.5 with the Bears plus 10. So I don't like to play both edges in a same team teaser. That was the first teaser I did was 1977, and it was Joe Montana against Earl Campbell in a Cotton Bowl. And I think it was a 1-point line. I think Texas was a 1-point favorite. So I said, I get Earl Campbell in 5, and I took Joe Montana in 7, and Joe Montana killed him. And I said, I'll never do that again. Keep them separate, because I canceled my bet by playing the same game. Here I got a blowout. So that's why I don't like to do it. But, it's okay. But, I probably for that amount, I might just stick with Indiana -1 and just hope they win. That's probably what I would do. Unless you really like Miami, but obviously you like Indy. So I think it'll be a close game, and I think it'll be high scoring because in these bowl games they tend to get high scoring. All right. So again, they're both A teams tonight. 14 defense for Miami, 11 for Indy. You got to ignore the Oregon game. That was all turnovers. Will Miami turn the ball over to India? I don't think so. I think they see that, and Indy's got a little bloated head, and Miami marches down the field. And will Miami play to their defense? Now, I don't like Miami's head coach. I like Indiana's much better. So the coach goes to Indy, the quarterback goes to Indy, and the defense goes to Indy. So, yes, I think Indy wins the game, like I said, but I think Miami will be able to find some points. Yeah, you might get an interception by Mendoza, and you'll probably get one from that. That's why I played the game over and didn't play Indy or Miami. I played the over, figuring I'm going to get turnovers, I'm going to get points, and in these type of games, they tend to the avalanche happens, and they score because the defenses are only good against weak offenses, but you don't have weak offenses here. Carson Beck showed his worth winning the Ole Miss game and the Ohio State games. He's good. He's showing me he's good. I wouldn't mind taking him over Dante Moore of Oregon. You got to be kidding. That's ridiculous. All right, a few more minutes, and I'm off to lunch with Alyssa. So that's it. So again, Caleb, where he forgot the game was playing. He forgot not to throw interceptions. Ben Johnson fucked his own team by not kicking field goals. Again, going on fourth down. You'd have thought he'd learned a lesson on the Lions when they blew the lead with the Niners going for fourth downs. You think in the playoffs, you can the fourth downs, right? And then he went for it again at midfield, and Caleb got it. It was fourth and a yard. But some of these fourth downs they're out of their mind. They don't understand the game. The more points, the team with the most points wins. You're giving up points. And you're going on fourth down. All right, 17-10. I kind of understand it, but kick your field goal, go 17-13, and then because you still needed the field goal, you were going to get the ball. You had timeouts. You're going to get the ball back. I do get that one going for it, but I still would have kicked the field goal. And then I would have won the game when I got the Hail Mary. But if I would have done it each time, I wouldn't have needed the Hail Mary. I had 17-16 on the two go for fourth downs, and then it'd be 17-16. I kick a field goal. I win 19-17. So Houston, New England. I mean, New England, again, it's like Indiana. You got 4 interceptions from Stroud. I think they got another fumble or something. So New England's defense looked good, but it was against C.J. Stroud. How is it going to look against Stidham? It'll probably look good, but it's at Denver. You're not at home. It's Mile High. Good luck getting oxygen. And so that's the difference here. The scene switches. You're not at home playing C.J. Stroud. You're on the road. How are you there? We don't know enough. There's no Tom Brady. There's no Mahomes to understand. Even Josh Allen. I mean, they played them over. They 35-31 Buffalo beat New England. So you can score on New England, right? But I don't know if Stidham is the right guy. Bo Nix, Denver would have been a 3-point favorite. And then I probably would have taken New England as a live dog there. But with Stidham, how much do you take him or not? So the 17-1's with Bo Nix. So you got to ignore that. New England at 18-1, but how are they as a road favorite? It's very difficult in the playoffs to win as a road favorite, especially with Drake May. That's why I tend to go to the total. I can sense the game more than I can. Like yesterday, I liked the Bears in 10 because I saw what Caleb did to Green Bay, who's similar to the Rams. But then I see it would have been over, but the weather. So the weather got me under. But Houston, New England, 2 good defenses, and you play to that hand, right? So again, I think Sean Payton reads Art of War. I think I don't know. I don't know about Vrabel. Seems like a smart guy. And then you gotta like Sean McVay over over Seattle's coach. You got like Stafford heavy over Darnell. So Stafford, I think they're a very live dog here, and you got to ignore, you can't score on Seattle. That's bullshit. The Rams did it 3 weeks ago. So that's what you got to look at. So that's why I like the over in the game. I'm 11-2 in the playoffs this year. My one loser was the Rams -4, and then I took in the winding cold of Chicago. I took the under in the Green Bay Chicago game, but my lock was Green Bay plus 7.5. That did win. I'm noticing these games change where Green Bay is 1 point favorite, and then Chicago is, and then Buffalo is 1.5, and then Jacksonville was favored, and then you got Buffalo was 1.5, and then Denver became 1.5 favorites. So very interesting. These things switch. But that's the way it is right now. I get Miami plus 15 over 40. Yeah, but what are your odds? They're probably like 130, 140. You've already got your 5 team. You already got 4 in. That's the hard part. Now you got 1 left with Indy -1. I would just leave that alone. To do that, -120. So you got to bet at least 120. Well, if Indy wins big or the game doesn't go over, you're going to give back 120 of your 350. I would just let it ride. Again, I don't like the total and as much, and I like the total over. I don't necessarily, Miami and 15. I think that's a good play, but I hate putting it in the same game. I mean, it could be an under game, although I think it'll be over. It could be an under game, but I think it'll be explosive. It's a championship game. I think you'll see points. I won't see it because it's on ESPN and I don't get it and I don't care and I'm not signing up for it to watch the game. I'll watch it on YouTube after. I'll keep an eye on it on Yahoo, check the scores, and all I'm looking for. I don't care who wins, just get me points. That's the beauty of overs and unders. I didn't care. The over in the Denver Buffalo game, I didn't care who won, but at the end I was rooting for Denver. Yesterday on the under for the Bears, I hoped the Bears, I knew I'd won the under because it was 17-17 and they had each had the ball. So now it's just kick a field goal to win. And but I wanted the Bears to win. I already won the Bears in town. I couldn't lose that. I couldn't lose the under. So it was just, okay, now I'm rooting for the Bears. I thought they'd be an interesting bet against Seattle. I think they'd give Seattle a lot of problems, as will the Rams. So again, here comes Darnold. This is going to be a problem. Do not sleep that he's good. He's not. He did not. He choked against the Lions and the Rams last year, and I don't see any reason that he all of a sudden learned how to not to choke. All right, so that's about it. Off for lunch. I'm on fire, going 6-0 and having a big week 1. So since that Saturday night, the Buffalo, I hit Frisco, New England under, Houston under, and then all 6 of the games this week. I get cooking like this. And again, in college, I don't really know. College is very confusing now with all the transfers and the new coaches. And now there's a new variable that we have to worry about is the coaches, the offensive and defensive coordinator. So you got Philadelphia, but their offensive coordinator sucked. Why did he stay with them the whole year? I didn't understand that. Well, was he blackmailing them or was this his friend? I mean, I didn't understand why he kept with that offensive coordinator. At least Campbell at Detroit got smart and got rid of his. Why he hired him in the first place, that's the problem. You're hiring from within, but they're not qualified. This is your problem. So now we have to follow the offensive and defensive coordinators around to know who to bet on. So usually in college, we just wait to like 2 or 3 games. The team that's scoring 50 points is who we're betting on, like North Texas. And that coach went to Oklahoma State. So this will be interesting, as his quarterback did. So we'll see there, but that's kind of where we use the stats, because who knows all these offensive and defensive coordinators, right? So just add another variable to the pile. Again, that's why you cannot mathematically do this. Okay, Prophet, you do a little mathematical algorithm or whatever the hell it is. How did you factor in the win yesterday? Let's see, your play was Chicago in 10.5. You didn't even factor in the wind. Did you really think they were going to score? What did I have? I'm under 54.5. It's 5 degrees out. Where was your formula in that? That's the problem with formulas. You can't factor in weather. And how do you do it? It's just a guess. Now, using logic, I can say it's 5 degrees. Nobody wants to be out there. You're not getting a lot of points. I don't need a formula to do that. And that's why I object to the formula is how do you throw the variables like that in? How do you play Denver this week? What's your formula for Stidham? You probably don't have it. You're probably just using Denver for the year, and you're just going to throw that in the formula, and you'll spit out something. You got Stidham instead of Bo Nix, and you can't possibly know what to value Stidham at. That's why I don't like formulas. That's why you use logic, you use your instinct and everything else, and that's why analytics never works here. Yeah, I am crushing it. That's what I do. I crush it. So I've been crushing it a lot since near the end of the college games. I've been crushing it. A lot of big weeks because I can figure out the teams. See, I look at the teams and figure them out. I don't look at numbers. That's the lazy way to do it because you're just saying, well, I'm going to put the numbers in and whatever spits out, I'm going to bet. That's not how you bet. You can't do that. It's the same thing if you're playing poker or anything. You can't just do that and say, this is what I got. No, it doesn't work like that. So anyway, hasta la vista, baby. I am off. Have a good day. Red hot. www.teaserking.com. I've given you the free pick of Seattle, LA over. I haven't picked the New England, Denver yet. If it's a lock, I'll let you know. Again, the problem now is I only have 2 teams, so I got to figure out. But I have 8 ways to play: Team A, Team B, over and under. So I can always come up with a teaser. We will see. How much do I trust Stidham versus playing the total in the game? It's probably a total play, as I said. And how good's New England's defense? So they're not playing C.J. Stroud. How good's Stidham? You're playing Sean Payton. So we'll have to see. Did Stidham start any games this season? Not this season, but he has started before. I think he was drafted by New England, and then I can't remember what he's been in the league about 5-6 years. He's a good quarterback. He was very good in college. But that he got beat out by the little guy on New England, and then he got moved around. Again, it depends on the offensive coordinator if you like him, but Sean Payton likes him. Sean Payton's like, we're fine with him. I'd listen to Sean Payton. I'd be surprised if they just get blown out and lose 32-0 because Stidham doesn't know where the center is versus the guard. So we'll get more into it. I'll study him a little more, but basically, I think he's fine. Again, it's going to be New England going into Denver and figuring out the altitude is going to be more on their minds than anything. So look at Denver. They're going to play. I mean, Denver's not going to just, like I say, just get killed here. Look for Denver to play them a game. And I wouldn't be surprised if Denver won. I don't buy New England's that good and Drake May because they played C.J. Stroud. They're not playing C.J. Stroud. They're not playing at home. They're playing in Mile High. And I got to check the weathers. So anyway, the Rams, very live dog, very live over. Go Rams, beat Navy. So anyway, have a good day, everybody. I will talk to you later. Let's check our gold and silver. That's just going to the moon. It's just going to keep going and going and going because it's undervalued because they're using derivatives. We got 94.32. What I have every day, it's up $4. 90, although it was at 93, so I don't know how it's up $4, and we're at 94. Anyway, 94.32 and 46.73. Just aching to get to 47. This will be 5,000 soon, and then 10,000, and this will hit 100 probably by the end of the week. Like I said, they were doing something between the 8th and the 14th that Mark McGuire said. And that's over. It ended on the 15th. Now we're at the 19th. So here we go. All right. Have a good day. Have a happy day. Go buy more silver. Buy gold if you can afford it. All right. And don't trade your silver for gold. And again, 1099. If you don't get a 1099, you're not paying tax because nobody knows you sold it. If nobody knows you sold it, why would I say, yeah, you gosh darn it, I better pay capital gains tax on it, even though nobody knows it? No. You know, if I sell profit, my Montana card for 80 grand and he just hands me the money, then, I'm not paying tax on that. You got to be kidding. So you make a smart move and you got to pay tax on it. The government's your partner. Yeah, I don't think so. All right. Have a good day. I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Stay safe.